That's right. On today's DKW show, we're going to be talking about the masks, hiding those little uglies away when we should actually be exposing them and dealing with them. And I've got my DKW presenters with me. I've got Kim, Shireen and Sam. Hello, ladies. All bright and sunny in your yellow.
We're trying to keep up with the weather. It's so beautiful and sunny outside.
It is rather hot outside. I hope it stays this way.
Absolutely beautiful.
For a while, yes. But masks, ladies, we are such good pretenders, us women. And I'm not just saying women in general. That also includes us as well. And we're going to be discussing...
We are women, Jen.
I know, but sometimes... but you know, sometimes some people might feel like, oh, they're pointing fingers like it's us, us, us. But do you know what? We are just like you. We go through the same isms as well. And we're going to be discussing and revealing some of our isms on the show today. But we're not afraid to say that, you know, we have some of these... What can I call them?
Uglies.
Yeah. Ugly.
Before we go into a little game, because you know we love our DKW games as well, red and green cards, so get them ready. Did you guys watch, well I was watching this on Daybreak, did you guys watch the videos, you know those girls that got kidnapped? That Michelle and Amanda. Did you guys, were you guys able to see the videos that they made this week?
Yeah.
I haven't.
They were very moving.
I've heard some rumours about it, but I haven't seen it myself.
Oh my gosh, basically the three girls, they came, they've done a recording now, just to let the world know how they're doing.
Yeah. And how grateful as well they were.
How grateful they were for the support of everyone. But there was one girl in particular that she just brought me to tears. She really did. I think it was Michelle. I couldn't remember. Yeah. But basically her face had been reconstructed because she was beaten that much inside the house.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. For 10 years he abused her. And
I didn't know
really,
that bit.
Yeah, it's been reconstructed.
And
please, please, please go on YouTube, go and watch it because it's so inspirational. This is a lady that wasn't... She was not afraid to come out on national TV, even though her face has been reconstructed, and say, do you know what? It doesn't matter what this guy has done to me. I'm going to look at the positive. I'm going to look at the positive of this. Yeah. I am not going to allow... She said a beautiful sentence. She said, I'm not going to allow this problem to define me. I'm going to define the situation. And when I saw that, and the way she said it was like, I would define the situation with her, you know. And I just was so moved by that. But that basically is the essence of this show. Yeah. Because she could have hid away indoors and like, you know what? I don't want anyone to see me. I'll just take on... I'll be a victim for the rest of my life. And who would blame her?
Yeah. People would understand.
Yes.
And they would respect it too.
Yes. And like you said, it's a brilliant way to show an ugly, you know.
Indeed.
And not that she's ugly, but exposing an ugly. So many people would hold that kind of trauma inside. And, you know, how many people say, I've had reconstructive surgery on my face and say why they've had it. So she was very, very brave. Very commendable what she did.
Amazingly positive. And she talks about how her faith is what kept her through it. And that was so beautiful. So beautiful.
Absolutely.
Please, if you've not watched it at home, please watch it and call us. Tell us what you think about it and other things on the show. 0207 686 6300. Would love to hear from you. Now, ready for the game?
Yeah. Okay.
Get your red and green cards ready.
All right, then. I've got my card.
Right. So. I read this interesting article on Yahoo Voices and they put together a list of secrets about women that they would not tell their partners.
Okay.
So I want to see if you agree with these 4 statements that I'm about to give you.
Okay.
Now, if you agree, you put your green card up and you say, I do. If you disagree, you turn it around and you say, I don't.
Right.
All right? And feel free, as usual, to be as honest as you want. And actually, if you want to call us as well to participate, feel free to do so as well. Right, are you ready?
Yes.
Ready.
So, according to this statement, most women have bleached facial hair. No matter what ethnic background they are from, it's a fact of life that all women have facial hair. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
So you don't have no eyebrows, no eyelashes, no nothing?
I don't have my eyebrows. Women try to pluck, wax, bleach their facial hair to stop it from looking like men. They get beard and moustache hairs, and even the very good-looking girls are always working every day to keep those stray hairs at bay. Is this true or is this false?
It's true.
I agree.
Definitely true. I tell you why.
Tell me why.
When you go down those local salons, and especially when they do threading, you see a stream of girls, and all you can hear from this is out, out. And like they're either having their eyebrows plucked or the moustache plucked. I even know of a friend that waxes her arms.
Really?
She waxes her arms. She gets her arms waxed.
Yeah.
She gets her arms waxed and stuff. But I do think that her partner is aware that, you know, she gets her arms
Yeah,
wrapped.
it's not
There's
a
nothing
secret.
wrong with that.
Not a secret.
I mean, some women are very hairy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some women are not. So if you
But,
need to,
Kimmy,
why
you don't
not?
reckon it's a secret? You think it's just a well-known thing?
I think it's a
Even
well-known
guys
fact.
know.
I mean, they just need to look at our eyebrows.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, some guys might be born that way. All right. Point number 2. We women usually keep our money hidden in our bras. Is it true or is it false?
Yeah.
I don't.
I do.
Cherie.
Sometimes I do. I
Seriously?
promise you.
That's so
Especially when
old
out and
school.
about. I'm so old school.
Gosh.
I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I'm out and about, and I don't like to. I'm one of those women. There's few women in life that hate carrying a bag. I like to be free, especially in the summertime. I love to be free. I don't like to hold anything.
serious?
So I have my card and I have my cash in my bra, and I just crack on with life. When I use it,
Shireen,
I'm serious.
wow.
When I use it,
Shireen, the
put it there.
change.
Yeah, that's what I hate. I hate the
was gonna
change.
say the change.
I
We're
hate
gonna
the
say
change.
the change.
But normally it's with my card. It's more card than cash. Just
Yeah.
put it there. That way I'll make sure that I don't lose it because you know
But-
everywhere else. is
So you got to be there talking in every minute.
What
Oh,
happens
no.
when you walk?
Definitely not.
Yeah, it's a discreet little thing.
What happens when you go down?
now.
You're in the middle of Morrison's. You finally realise, oh my gosh, I forgot the last bit of shopping, and you know there's a long queue behind you, and you're in that queue. Do you literally go?
Yeah. But that's not happened to me before.
All I can say to you, Cherie,
years of doing
be
it.
careful, because once upon a time I was on the bus and instead of taking out my bus pass, I took out something else inside the bus drive. So just be careful you don't take out something else.
Don't know
for
what you
God's
mean,
sake.
Sam. Okay, next. Now this one's a little bit controversial. Let's see what you guys are going to say about this. The guy standing next to you is definitely hotter. We would never tell our partners that the guy next to them was hotter or that they had a better body. It's our little secret, and we will never give that up.
I mean,
Do you understand that?
Who
So, for
would do
example,
that? Can you
for example,
clarify that,
say
please?
you could be at a party, I guess, or you could be out with someone.
With your husband.
With your husband, and there's this guy that's standing next to him. Maybe it's a friend of his, or a friend of yours, or a colleague. Couldn't be anyone, but he's, you know, just that little bit more handsome, more nicer than your husband or your partner. But you'll never tell him that.
Well, who would
Imagine
do that anyway? But why
Imagine
would you
anybody
do
being
that?
hotter than my husband.
Oh, Sam! Please,
on.
Sam, are you
somebody call
serious?
in the
I'm
studio and tell
serious.
Sam this can't be true.
My husband is
Please.
hot.
do you know what? I mean,
I disqualify her from this round. She's disqualified.
but no, seriously. On a different note, I don't understand why would you tell your other half that, by the way,
That's
the
what
guy
they're
next
saying.
to you
They're saying
is
you wouldn't.
absolutely gorgeous.
It's a secret.
wouldn't, you
That's the whole
wouldn't.
point.
You wouldn't.
And I mean, that's
You
so
wouldn't.
offensive.
No, that's the question, Jen. The question is that it's a secret that women have amongst ourselves. We wouldn't ever tell the partner, but we secretly think, oh, even at the movies. What about in the movies? You're with your husband and there's that special guy on the TV that you've gone to the movie and you go, oh, so nice. But you would never tell your partner that.
No,
but
I don't-
inside
yeah.
you keep it. Is that true or false?
I think it's true. You would never.
I think you would never.
I do.
You'd never,
Yeah, I don't think you would.
you'd never do that.
Sam?
I don't.
Okay.
Sam can't remember life before Andrew.
Oh, because it's Andrew. Andrew, I need to speak. I need to see what you have done to
Andrew,
this
you've
woman.
got her
You
wits.
seem very sweet.
Aww.
That's the thing.
Me too. Of course, Limborn out there. You know, I don't ever think of
I think
anyone
you
else
better say
more than
something
you.
nice.
Same thing, Mark.
Definitely not.
Love you, darling. Trouble after this
That
show.
disclaimer on.
I'm a singleton, so.
Last but not least, before we finalise the game, we never tell you how bad the date really was. So that's right. We pretend to have no money and not offer to pay part of the bill, and they go on to tell you how well the date went, but we would never tell you how bad it really was. That is what we would tell our girlfriends.
I don't.
Who
I
is
would-
like that?
I would say.
Do you mean you
False.
actually tell them?
You wouldn't tell
So
them.
you wouldn't tell them. So for example, you'd be at a date. Remember your
With my hubby?
pre-Andrew
Pre-Andrew.
times.
Pre-Andrew.
You were dating.
I was going to say, if it was Andrew, I would say I do.
That's because you're a husband. But think about when you were dating back in the day
Yeah.
before Andrew came along, and would you pretend that you wouldn't have money so he would pay the bill? Would you make sure that he would pay at least part of the bill? And then would you say, "Oh, I'm having a great
Well, my
time," even if you
thing,
weren't?
my thing is, Shireen, I wouldn't actually need to pretend, because whether I had money in my purse or not, he would know that I wouldn't be paying.
Now that's a whole nother show.
To pay
pay or not to pay? That is the question. But no, I don't know. I'm just straight up like that. I'll be like, gosh, it was horrible. I'm not.
Well, you would tell the guy
Jennifer,
straight?
you would say that.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you,
I
Jen.
would.
Yeah.
Jennifer went on a date before, and she actually.
And I did.
You did, didn't you, Jen?
I did. I
told the guy.
That Valentine's one, do you remember?
It was. Yeah. I was like, it was absolutely ridiculous.
You told him.
You
told
did.
him, Jen.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Why not?
She did tell
I'm not
him.
going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you because then you'll keep doing that and then I'll keep getting annoyed.
Exactly. Let him know where he's going wrong.
Honestly, why wouldn't you tell him? Obviously, within reason,
It's
you're not
going
going
to heart. Not, especially if they made such an effort. You know, probably don't. You want to be nice. You
Yeah,
don't
but
wanna,
there's a polite way to tell somebody that things have gone horribly wrong, isn't it?
Yes.
Exactly. So you just tell him. Otherwise, he's gonna go off and he's gonna do it to some poor so that he goes out with again.
Jennifer,
and then
you're
she's
much
gonna
Well,
be-
the thing is, the next date you bring on, he may go and do the same
Same
thing, thinking
thing, and
that
then I'm
you
gonna
think
be
it was nice and it wasn't.
Yeah,
Right,
and then I'm gonna be
on that
absolutely
note,
annoyed.
ladies, on that note, please vote. True or false?
I don't. I wouldn't.
It's,
so
you
then
know,
I'm gonna do.
I do
You
as
would,
well.
you would tell the guy.
I
You
would.
tell the
I
guy.
wouldn't.
Me.
I wouldn't.
You would.
I would.
Shireen, would you?
And I am siding with Kim.
Oh gosh,
I don't.
I wouldn't.
You guys are terrible.
I wouldn't. I would just
I would
respect
save
the
that for my
date.
girlfriends.
I'm telling you, and my family
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
But actually, a question that I want to quickly ask them before we do go to the break: is it within a reasonable time frame, or are you saying straight off?
First date.
First date, straight after the first date, you're telling him it was absolutely horrible.
No, I would. You're saying you would, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I wouldn't. Are you waiting for him to drop you off home first before you say this?
Yeah.
So when he spent his money on you, he's dropped you to your door, and you turn around and say to you,
Or actually, there's a way of saying it. Like for example, if you don't like theme
let him drop
parks
you
and he's
home
going to take you to a theme
drop you
park,
home first.
I'm going to tell you, look, don't take me to a theme park. If you're on your way to the theme park, I don't like it. Can we go somewhere else?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would say thank you so much for a lovely evening,
Yeah.
and then I'll get on the phone and call my mum, my
Yeah.
sister.
That's mean.
That's what I do.
That's so mean on
I would
him.
have
Yeah.
to hint and tell him. I got it.
Yeah, I've got it.
In a nice way.
Yeah, in a nice way. I agree,
wouldn't.
Sam. Great minds think
Not
alike.
in a horrible way.
Yeah.
But
Not to
ladies,
insult him.
you know, let us know what you think. Do you think that it is reasonable to be, you know, honest to a partner or your supposed boyfriend when going out on a date and telling him that you don't particularly like the date? Give us a call on 0207 686 6300. And also, do you have any hidden insecurities or uglies that you'd like to talk about on today's show? We'd like to hear your comments too, so call us on the same number and we'll be back after this break. Welcome back, and on today's show we're talking about our uglies, those little things that we hide behind our masks and we don't really want to talk about. And we've got a little game as well. So ladies, let's discuss women's insecurities. You know, we have many insecurities and sometimes we try to hide them. And I've got a top 10 from a poll here and I want to see if you can guess. So what do you think is number 10? Any guesses? Insecurities that women have.
Gosh, number 10.
Size.
I would have thought that would have been way up.
Size.
Like way up, isn't it? Like probably
Oh,
2
the
or
lowest
something.
one. Okay,
the lowest
height.
one.
Okay, 10. Okay.
Here.
No, it's actually finding love. According to this poll,
okay.
number 10 was finding love. Number 9 actually is being a good mother. What do you think about that? Do you think women are insecure when it comes to motherhood?
Yeah, I do.
Because you two are both mummies and...
Can be.
Yeah, 'cause
Especially
you-
if they're very young.
And you want to get it right, you know. You think that you could damage your children for life if you're not careful.
Maybe because I've never been at that point where I've been pregnant and had kids, but I would have never thought that it would make you insecure. I think some people get so insecure, like so excited, about having kids that they don't even think about being insecure. I don't know if you agree,
Yeah,
Sharon.
you- especially
Do after, James.
if your
for sure.
child is not meeting the milestones that the average child meets, you do start to
Okay.
feel that way. For example, if your child's not doing as well at school as other children, or your children are not making friends like other children.
That's a good point.
You know, your children are getting bullied. Is it something I've done or said? You do have all these things that perhaps I'm getting it wrong as a parent.
Yeah, I've actually been through that. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know, Sammy, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think number 8 is then? Because these ones are quite surprising, actually. When I saw this poll myself, I was like, wow.
Insecurity. Pleasing their hobbies.
No, actually, it's accomplishments. Many women.
Achievements.
Yeah, many women are
career.
very
That's
insecure.
understandable.
Yeah, that is
Very
understandable.
understandable.
Yeah.
Number 7.
What's out of our misery, Jen?
Hair.
Hair.
Yeah.
I would have thought that would be
higher.
higher.
I was just about to say, I would have thought that would have been much higher
Yeah.
up.
I would.
Actually, guess what was higher than hair? Number 6 was intelligence. Many women are insecure about their intelligence.
Really?
And number 5, is popularity.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would never got that.
I would have never got that. Either.
Yeah. Number 4 is their face.
Yeah.
Many women are insecure
That one I
about their
understand
face.
completely.
Yeah.
Get that one.
Number 3 is their weight. I would have thought that would have been number 1.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I would have been
You
higher.
know, but then number 2 was personality, which I find extremely weird. Why would you be insecure about your personality?
If you're shy, if you've got a low self-esteem, that can bring a lot
There's
of
a lot of competitiveness with women.
insecurity. Yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then number 1 was a body. So from head to toe, their body, they're just completely insecure.
Complexes.
Yeah.
Do you have any parts of your body you would say that makes you insecure?
I used to be. I remember when I was younger, I had a fairly large bum. And I used to be very insecure about it. I used to cover it all the time. You know, I would not go out as a young girl without a top that covers my bum.
I was the same.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? Like weather like this, you would still see me with a coat on.
Yeah.
I would
To cover
still wear the coat
There you go, not alone.
just to cover it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, speaking on one of the countdowns, one that was brought up was hair. And I've got an interesting one on this. It says women now constitute to 1/3 of all hair transplants patients, 1/3. So you can see a lot of women are having problems with their hair. And it's saying that the modern lifestyle habits may be causing thinning, receding hair, and iron deficiency also is a trigger. Baldness is affecting women of all ages.
Yes.
And with Transform reporting that the average age of female hair loss has fallen from 51 in 2010 to 34
Wow.
in 2013. So you've got women that are now 34 that are losing clumps of their
I
hair.
can highly believe it because I used to be a hairdresser.
Right.
And the amount of women who had hair problems, not because they were born with hair problems, because of stress.
Really?
Yeah, because of stress.
Remember that happened to me in my teens actually.
Alopecia.
Side of my hair,
Alopecia.
Stress.
Yeah,
I forgot all about that,
I can
actually.
expose the ugly here.
Okay, tell us.
Because this was really something I've battled with. When I had a very stressful situation happen in my life about 4 years ago, and after that, oh my gosh, it's like the more I'd brush, literally clumps of hair would come out.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I mean, I never had the most fantastic hair anyway, but so it's really precious. You know, black people, hair is a big thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have much of it. And I would brush it, and it would literally be bold patches was appearing.
Oh my God.
Bold patches, but bold, like like the skin.
Yeah, that's actually alopecia. That's alopecia.
And when I went to the GP, that's what they said I had, and they said it was because of stress.
Yeah,
'Cause I
stress.
never
There you go.
had that before, and there was nothing they could do at the time. You know, I mean, if it was getting really serious, they would have referred me on to like a
get eye
dermatologist, things like that.
frequency treatment,
But they were
yeah.
saying it's literally related to stress.
My goodness.
And it was horrible because it added more stress. That's the
Of
thing. It
course,
added more
it would.
stress. You know, my hair at the time, I wish I had pictures. I should have brought pictures really, but at that time I used to keep my hair in extensions all the time to try to hide it because it was so shocking. My mum used to help do my hair for me and try to cover it. It was really a distressing thing.
How did you cope with that? Because maybe there's someone out there that's watching it and saying, do you
It's
know what,
horrible.
I'm going through that and I really don't know how to deal with it.
No, I understand it completely. You don't even want to leave your home. The thing is, you don't realise how something like this would impact you unless you've been through it. Like, you know, if I heard someone else talking about it and hadn't been through it, I'd just be like, oh, come on, it's just hair. But it isn't.
No, it's not.
It has such an impact on you. It's part of who you are. And when you don't have, as a woman, when you don't have control over something, it really, that is what is stressful. That is what's frustrating. That's what's painful.
Yeah.
But then, I realised something, and I got this from my mum. I'd like to share that with everyone, especially if you're going through the same thing. Do see your GP, but then after you're dealt with, you were left to deal with the problem. I was like, do you know what? I used to always scrape my hair back in a bun, always scrape it back. And when this happened to me, it made me, I thought, do you know what? Just like that girl was saying on her video, Michelle, I'm not going to let this problem define my life. I'm not going to leave the house.
Yeah,
I'm young.
that's
I've got
it.
so much I want to achieve in life. I want to do stuff. I can't let this hair thing rule me. So do you know what? I'm going to go and have a look at weaves. I'm going to have a look at bonding. I'm going to have a look at extension. I will do whatever I need to do. And I started experimenting. And that's what I do. And I'm happy. It's actually, I took this situation, I turned it around and to be more creative with my look.
Because the thing is, there's always a way to turn it around, isn't there? There's always a solution to every problem. I don't believe there's never a solution to any problem at all.
That's it. And do you know what's so funny about that? On the flip side, you've got girls that have got beautiful hair, but they're so self-conscious about it. They literally think that their hair is horrible. Maybe it's thick and it's long, or it's a particular colour. And then, you know, you've got people that are suffering from alopecia that don't even have hair. No. So it just goes to show that sometimes we really don't appreciate what we have.
Yes.
It's all about
That's the other side of the coin.
Yeah, is that as well. But it's all about doing the best with what you have.
Exactly.
Do you know what
agree
I
with
cannot
that.
be like, I don't have hair like Sam or Kim or like my sisters. If you see my sisters, their hair is the bomb, but I have it like them. So what I have, let me do my best with it and make the most of what I have and make myself happy.
That's right.
That's it.
And there's so many products out there now.
I'm telling you.
You can make yourself.
Indeed.
You can change your look every week.
Yes,
Indeed.
exactly.
There's so much available out there. So, you know, go and experiment, have fun.
Yeah.
So many shops,
I think it's
everything.
harder for ones that are very visible, because with you now, you could find a way to
Hide it.
But then if it's something visible, like for example, if you have a severe, you know, I know a friend who had a severe skin problem and it's very visible and that can cause a huge complex on your life.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? The itching, the look
I want to even talk about skin.
of that.
I'm going to expose my ugly, and I've even mentioned it a couple of times, but I'll go into a bit more detail. I used to get a really hard time about my skin colour. Not because I'm black or anything, but because I'm dark.
Because you're dark skinned,
And
yes.
I remember that used to make me feel so terrible, but like really, really, really bad, because I used to think, oh my gosh, I wish I was a bit lighter. Like Shireen.
Was that because you had a lot of lighter people around you?
No, it was on the...
Or were you the only black one?
I do have some members of my family that are like lighter in complexion, but I just used to get teased a lot.
Well,
At school,
Really?
at school, I used to get teased a lot.
That's what would have brought it on.
Yeah, and then I had a lot of acne at the time. You know, when you're young, you're at secondary school, your hormones and everything.
Yes,
so I had loads of spots. I was already like really overweight. I was really, really tall. And so like the kids used to taunt me every day.
Wow.
And it was like really, really bad. At times I just wish I could just hide away.
Oh.
And it was really weird, because as I grew up, I thought, oh, you know, it's a phase that you go through when you're at school and stuff. But I started to notice I wouldn't wear certain things. Like, for example, you would never catch me dead in a colour like this.
Or sleeveless.
Or sleeveless, because it just, I mean, this is like almost neon green on the TV. It brings out my skin colour even more. And now that I've learned to appreciate myself, and, you know, it is my skin colour and I love it. It's like, I'm over it. You will see me, you guys know me. I'm usually in bright colours anyway, because I like it, because it brings out my skin. But there's many, not just women, even men, that are now resorting to doing different things in order to change their skin colour. I mean, if they're too pale, they'll stay on the sunbed for like hours on end and get like skin cancer. Or on the flip side, if they're too dark, they'll start bleaching and using all sorts of chemicals and stuff like that in order to strip their skin. And I just think it's really, really sad. I have no problems in enhancing the way you look. You know, if you get a tan, I know this might sound trivial, but I like actually to get a little bit darker every now and again. Even though I'm really dark, but when I go in the sun, I kind of like have this golden dark look, if there's such a thing. I know people are shaking their heads like, what on earth is she talking about? But, you know, it is a big deal for many people.
Do you know, it is. I remember at school, I'll be honest with you, I remember at school, because I know the two of you were like, where does this come from? This was so popular at school. Yeah. I know they used to say, like, if you switch off the light, no one will be able to see you.
Oh my God, I used to get that all the time.
And I used to say, thank God
that you weren't black.
No, I used to think, I'll be honest with you.
No, seriously.
Thank you. Because it was really, really bad for True. It was really bad. But the thing is, Jen, you're so stunning. I couldn't actually imagine you in my complexion. That's the thing. I think everything just works beautifully.
This is the thing now that I've learned to appreciate myself. You know, I did go to a place where I found help as well. I went to a centre, a health centre, where they helped me, and, you know, they encouraged me and they helped me in my self-esteem and stuff like that. And they gave me my confidence back. But even to the point, I'll never forget this. there was a certain person that I was going to engage in a relationship with, and the person was like, you know, it would have been nice if he was a bit lighter.
They said that to you. They actually said that to you.
I would have said
yes.
bye-bye.
And obviously, it didn't go anywhere.
Couldn't go
but
anywhere.
it's just hearing things like that, and then you start to think, okay, you get this at school, you get this when you're trying to engage in a relationship, and then you start to slowly but surely think less and less of yourself, as if to say, you know, there's something wrong with you just because you're of a particular colour. And I remember there was one girl I spoke to who literally was in tears. Absolutely stunning. I mean, she was much darker than me. Much darker, absolutely stunning, and she was really negative. She thought that she wasn't going to find anyone, no one was going to like her. She was afraid to go out, you know, and hold a presentation or do a particular thing because she was dark. She thought
because
the first
it has
people,
such an impact on your life,
it does.
doesn't it? And your
It
self-esteem.
really, you know, something people would think it's really trivial, but something as small as that really knocks down a person's confidence to the point that they don't even feel like they can go out and talk to people.
Yeah.
And some women for so many years. That's the thing, you know, it has a lifespan on it, which you know can really.
I remember
have a big
living in the
impact.
West Indies. That is a very big deal about skin tones. I never really noticed it until I went and I lived in the West Indies, and people would refer to you by the tone of your skin.
Really?
Like I would be like, there'd be like the light skin,
Red skin.
Red skin, yeah, I remember that.
and I was like, and I would be like considered like a browning.
Yeah,
Because I didn't
browning.
notice this stuff when I was in England. Black was black.
Yeah.
We didn't see the different shades, but in the West Indies, it's a big thing. And certain jobs, there was a time, I don't know how it is now, but there's certain jobs that if you were of a certain colour, I mean, not when I say colour, a certain tone,
yeah.
you're more likely to get the jobs.
Really?
Yes, it was quite pronounced out there when I was living there.
Wow,
Very pronounced.
That's shocking.
That's
that
what they
is
call it.
very shocking.
Yeah, I mean, they say it's effects of colonization. You know, when white people came and they colonized the country, and the ones that were closer to the master's colour were. And when I went out there was still those effects going out. That the lighter your skin was, the better prospects you had for jobs and being in certain positions. It was only there I never really saw it here in England. It was when I was in the West Indies
But
I saw it.
on the flip side, I also had a friend who was constantly feeling the need to have like fake tans and stuff like that, because she's absolutely gorgeous girl. She's white and everything, but she's quite pale. So she constantly felt like she had to go underneath a sunbed, and she will spend loads and loads and loads of money doing this, or getting, you know, like spray tans and stuff like that. And like I said, there's no problem in doing that or getting the sun. But when you like have to hide behind that and you're not happy with yourself, I think it does become a bit of a problem. And I want to know, what do you think out there? Do you think sometimes we can hide behind these little cosmetic procedures in order to make ourselves feel better, or do you think there's absolutely nothing wrong with it? Give us a call on 0207 686 6300, and would love to hear what you have to say. We'll be going to a break and we'll be back. Hi, we're talking about uglies on today's show. That's right, the things that we tend to hide away, little insecurities that we pretend are not really there and they're there. And before we went to the break, we were discussing skin tone, and it actually leads on to even bigger things, such as not liking what you see in the mirror. And we've got a couple of pictures here of some celebrities that I wanted to discuss with you guys and just find out what you think, because there's a big myth around plastic surgery. Some people just think it's a nip and tuck here and there. What do you guys think?
I think it's gone, you know, way beyond now. I think a lot of those celebrities out there, they really are overdoing it now. You know, they've become so addicted, so obsessed with perfection, that the perfection is actually making them look uglier and uglier and uglier. And that's what's happening,
well,
you know.
I've got a picture here of Vibes Cartel, who's an artist, and you can see the difference there.
Wow.
I mean, if you look at the difference,
He looks
it's
ill.
absolutely...
Wow, he looks scary. He looks
scary.
unwell. He looks unwell.
It's scary.
He actually looks ill.
You know, I think that's the effects of skin lightening, and it's absolutely
awful.
Scary. But I think at one point for him, it must have been acceptable. It must have been like, oh, it's really nice, and then I'll have some more of that, and then I'll have some more of that until,
gets
you know. And then
satisfy.
the famous one, ladies, I mean, many people know this young lady, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
I mean, she's completely different.
Absolutely beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And just, she
like a
looks
Barbie
so
doll.
unreal.
She's like a Barbie doll,
She
isn't
looks
she?
unreal.
I think she looked so beautiful before she actually had the plastic surgery.
She does. She was
She did. She
naturally
needed to do that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Naturally beautiful.
And then on top of that, we've got our famous Pete Burns. Now, Pete is, for me, a very... I don't know. I think the more he's done surgery, the more he's gone further away from actually looking like a man. I don't know if we've got a picture of Pete Burns that we can show. That's our Pete. And
Wow.
he looks... Yeah.
But is he the other way anyway?
Well,
I would think
I mean,
so.
look at that. Look at the difference. There you've got him in 1985.
And he's got
Then
quite
in
alright.
2005, you know, you got the lips done,
he's becoming a woman.
shrunk the nose, you know, did the eyes, and now look at that.
Because some men actually do want to be more feminine. So, I mean, does he want to be more feminine?
Well, from the looks of it, it does.
looks
but
like
where
it,
do
but
you
it-
draw the line between?
Yeah, this is
you
the
know,
thing.
because some people will say, look, Michelle, who was in that abusive situation, had the reconstructive surgery, and now she becomes more positive about herself. Why isn't it that these people can't have all of that surgery and feel positive about themselves? Maybe it makes them feel better. What do you think?
Each to their own, do you know what I mean? I think each to their own, but honestly, I truly think that these people have got such issues inside,
Yeah,
and
me
all
too.
this
Deeper issues.
deeper issues, and all this surgery that they're having is just trying to, you know, block their mind from what's really going on.
Hiding the uglies away.
Yeah, hiding the uglies away. Exactly that. There's issues that they need to deal with from within, but they keep doing this. I think it's their way of trying to deal with what's happening on the inside, outside. That's the only. That's the understanding they
because
have.
you can find a person who may not be the most attractive person, but when she looks in that mirror, she loves herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She sees beauty,
And other people see beauty in her.
and other people see that
Yeah.
beauty, and that's how it should be. You know, you should be able to look in that mirror and say, you know what? I absolutely am an attractive, beautiful woman. I love myself, and you know, I'm confident in whatever I attempt to do, and that's how it should be.
That's how it should be, but in reality, I don't think many people feel that way about
Yeah,
themselves.
because their self-esteem is so low, and they don't have the confidence within themselves. So inside, they're quite dark.
But I think sometimes people feel the way that they do. Like, for example, when I was going through what I was going through, I was feeling like that because I felt that there was so much pressure around me. So I was getting that pressure from school. Then as well, when you switch on the TV, you've got these celebs that look a certain way, so you think you have to look that way. And then, you know, maybe the type of people that you're going for in the opposite sex think that's attractive, so then that person feels like they have to go down that route. And even worse still, when a person's going through an abusive situation, now that completely like devastates and
It can
destroys
traumatise
your
people, can't it? And I
self-esteem.
think that's what happens as well. That's the other side, that people can actually be so traumatised. You know, even simple things by, you know, being bullied at school, like what you said, you know, parents always putting you down from a young age,
that's
saying
an
that
interesting one.
you're not very pretty, or you're ugly,
or you're
from
not
a
like your
young
other
age.
sibling and so on.
Do you know what I mean? You're not as nice as so and so, and little things like that can affect one's life. You know, and I can bring that. I'm going to bring that to myself now. And talking about hiddens. I'm gonna just give you an inline. And although I've spoken about it on the show before, but the fact that many women go through abuse, and it's not something that they intentionally ask to happen to them. You don't invite that to happen to you. You know, many women go through certain traumas, and it's something that happened to them. They didn't ask for that to happen to them, and they have to deal with it. And unfortunately, some women do like what I did. They hide it. They hide it. And my abuse was, although I wasn't sexually abused in that way, but because I had this neighbour, and I wasn't more than probably between the age of probably around 7, could be 7, 8, and to be a young girl, going innocently to your neighbour and then having your neighbour more or less deceiving you that they're playing and exposing his private part, you know what I mean, and wanting you to play and in such an horrific way, you just think to yourself, my God. And that had an effect on my life, even to the point that I hid that for my entire life.
How did it affect your personality or you as a person?
Well, I often look back and I think, well, how did it affect my life? Because I was a lucky one, as in, you know, I was a lucky young girl, as in I had a lot of positive things that happened to my life, as in I was a very good athlete and I was quite good in school. So the positive things in some sense was to override that trauma. So what I did, I hid it away, and then I probably was strong enough to override it with the positive things in my life. But as an adult, I found that this had an effect on my love life.
Right.
So it did have a knocked-on effect in my adult life, in my adulthood. It did have a knocked-on effect because it meant that I wasn't able to choose a positive person. And in actual fact, I actually saw, because he was white, I actually thought of white men being, they're abusers, they're not quite right, and I wouldn't go out with a white guy at that particular age in my life. So I went for the typical type of black guy who was negative. Do you know what I mean? And that did have an effect on my life, because it meant that that part of my life, I became negative. My character became negative. I started to do negative activities in that period of my life. And it wasn't until I was able to open up and reveal, expose.
But you said you did negative things. What kind of negative things did you do?
Crime. I got involved with drugs.
Really?
Yeah, I used to take drugs.
I could never imagine that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. When they see me now, I never can imagine you doing illegal activities. I can never imagine you. Not that it's an excuse. I will use that as an excuse. I've never done. But when when I reflect on how did I deal with it, what has been, because it has to have some type of effect.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hide something for over 30 years, I mean, this happened from a childhood, and I never spoke to my parents about it.
Wow.
I never spoke and told an adult or an authority as a teacher or anybody about it. You know, thank God, God knows what my parents would have done, probably knocked his block off, but you know what I mean? You can imagine how many women probably have gone through abuse, and probably even far more serious abuse than what I went through. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was serious enough.
Yeah.
It was serious enough. You know what I mean? And the fact that I was seeing him abusing other children, because when I used to go there to play and see him sneaking up, little boys into the attic and sexually abusing and sneaking and watching, he was more for boys. So that's probably why I didn't get sexually in that sense. But those are memories that you try to block out, which I did for a certain point of my life. But you always have those memories that will, something will flick up and will remind you. And it wasn't until I didn't expose it, my healing process was when I exposed it.
Yeah.
So that I wasn't able to become the person that I am today. Until it was exposed.
And how did you do that? So then, how did you heal?
By speaking about it. And when I was speaking it meant that I was facing that trauma. I was facing that negativity that I experienced in my life. And then, and only then, was I able to find my feet, find myself, learn who I am. To start to turn it around, like you said, the young girls, they was able to turn it around and start to do positive things for their life and to be able to tell the tale today. Now I can sit here as a presenter and tell the tale, hold my face up, face the cameras and say, yes, I experienced abuse, but I'm successful.
I'm telling you.
I'm just engrossed. I just want to know, but who did you speak to? That's what I want to know.
My first person, I have to be honest with you, the first person that I told was my husband. So you imagine keeping something throughout your entire life. until you reach in your 30s is kind of, wow.
Yeah.
It's a long time. My parents didn't know until I was an adult. My mum was never, because my mum died. I actually exposed it on the day when it was one of the evenings after my mum had died. I happened to be speaking about it quite openly with my family. We're like, mum's died and you're speaking about this trauma. You know, but I was able to speak about it. I mean, I can speak about it, and it's like nothing now.
It must have been like a huge weight.
Yeah.
So a relief.
It is a relief, and that's the problem with many women. They hide their bad experience, their uglies, and it stays there deep inside, and it eats away at them.
Slowly as well.
It eats away at them, and it becomes an effect because it leads into depression, it leads into low self-esteem, it can affect your career, it can affect your love life, it can affect how you deal with your relationship with other people, even your peers.
Sorry, this is just too strong. So if other people want to open up to you, Sam, because she had her husband,
but some people don't have that.
I'm telling you, you've got nobody. Imagine you go through that. I couldn't imagine it. You go through that. You've got no one to talk to. Maybe someone
I would
want to open
welcome,
up to you.
absolutely welcome women or men if it need be, you know, to call, email on comments at dkw.me, and I would welcome the time to speak with you, to help you, to advise you, because that's what we're here for.
You know, to listen, isn't it?
Or just be a listening ear to you and give you my own experience, how I got over it. You know, and I also went to, you know, there's always places that you can go to seek advice and guidance, someone to speak to, you know, and things like that. And I did go and seek help. As an adult,
we've all gotten over everything, but I noticed that it's when you talk about it, when you release, when you share it with someone, it then becomes so much lighter. It's like a problem halved, you know, a problem shared is a problem halved. And I think many times we have these uglies and we're afraid to speak about them because we don't know how people are going to respond, what they're going to say, what they're going to think. And I just want to let you know, if you're out there and you feel like, you know what, I'm in my bubble right now with this ugly and I don't know what to do, please send us an email. Send an email to comments@dkw.me. Regardless of how big or how small it is, I'm sure we'll be more than happy. More than happy to help you through. And also learn this, you are beautiful in your own unique way.
That's right.
You don't need to hide this ugly away. Pull it out of the drawer, out of the closet, out of that little box, deal with it and become an even better you. So that's my conclusion for today. That's what I wanted to throw out there. Ladies, I've had a fab time with you.
You too, Jennifer, and your dark self.
Love you, Jenny. You know, it's really, really wonderful, and it's positive to have that kind of energy, and we want to pass that on to you. So like I said, don't forget to contact us and go on our Facebook as well, A Different Kind of Woman. We want to hear your comments, and we look forward to seeing you next week, Sunday at 4 p.m. Don't miss the next show. Bye.
Bye.